Welcome to the land of seeing everything from your house. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I miss human interaction, actually. But on the bright side, I'm getting a lot more meditation in, and I'm in my kitchen making a lot more stuff. My friend Sherry, I want to give a shout out to Sherry. She's the one that introduced me to this fire cider. We were on a road trip to Sedona, which we actually got turned around on our road trip, like 600 miles in. Caitlin calls me, and then my roommate calls her, hey, turn around, Sedona's canceled, like the yoga festival. So we're in the car just chugging fire cider, and then she gave me some of the ingredients that I'm going to do with you today, and I made my own. It's super. If you guys haven't had fire cider, oh my gosh, it's freaking fabulous. It's the most potent antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, immune boosting, healing, healthy. I'm going to put a lot of really cool ingredients in today, that not just like basic ingredients, but we're going to be playing around with hawthorn berries and cloves. And I just picked some juniper berries like outside of my house from one of the trees. And when you take a shot of this, it's literally like you can feel it all the way through your whole digestive tract. And I took some a little too late last night, and I kind of couldn't go to sleep. I was like, whoa, that stuff gives you energy. I mean, it's packed with horseradish and cayenne and lemon and onion and garlic and ginger and all kinds of good stuff. So we're going to get started on the recipe. I got the recipe on my phone, so I'm going to check from that. But this is going to take you 4 weeks to brew it. So it's not an overnight thing, but it's just something good to know how to make. And you can always have fire cider. I mean, it's something that you can use all the time. And this is going to be a great, way better than buying it, because you know exactly what's in it, and it's going to be super potent. So we're going to start, and this is a big batch, so you can cut this down. I made a quick batch last night, which I'll show you. It's in my cupboard. And this one is still, as you can see the difference, this one is one that Sherry brewed for 4 weeks, and then she filtered. And then this is mine that I'm about to show you how to make. But this is like, I cut it into a quarter of the batch. So this is about how much it makes if you cut it down to a quarter, which is still a lot. But if you're going to do it and you've got the ingredients, you may as well make a big batch. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to start with a half a cup of freshly peeled and grated ginger root. And I already grated some down, so you guys wouldn't have to watch me grate it all. Caitlin, just let me know if you guys can actually see. I think you can, but see my cutting board. I just want to make sure. I don't want my head to be cut off, but I also want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Anyway, so here's this little jar full of stuff. I grated some ginger. I grated some turmeric. And I got this big jar. And if you're wondering what this thing is, I'll show you guys again later. But this is just a piece of Teflex sheet. I cut one of my Teflex sheets down, but you can also use, don't use wax paper. I would use like parchment paper and maybe triple it, because you don't want this to start to rust, because this is all, when vinegar hits it, it's going to rust. You could also use a plastic lid, but I noticed with this plastic lid that when I shake it, it kind of leaks. So that's why, but we'll get to that in a minute. That's the jar it's going to go in. So the first ingredient is a half a cup of grated ginger. I'm going to see how much I have here. I know I've got about at least a quarter cup. And then the best way to grate, like if you have organic ginger, this is a quarter cup. You don't have to peel it. A lot of people think you have to peel ginger, but if it's, and we're going to strain it out in 4 weeks anyway. But if it's not, if it is organic, which hopefully most of you guys are buying organic, you can just grate it, like use one of these microplaners. And because, you know, you're home right now and maybe you can't get all the ingredients, if you only have a little bit of ginger and you can't get the full, you know, if the stores are sold out, because I know like here in Bend, you go in there and it's so funny. Like the produce is fully in stock, except they were out of horseradish. But you know what's out of stock is bread. Like things that are totally going to kill people's immunity. Bread, pastries. My friend's been trying to get bread. He lives here. So like I noticed he keeps saying they're out of bread. I'm like, oh, I never checked the bread aisle. But people are buying comfort food right now. But what we want to be buying is the healthy produce that nobody else is buying. And maybe where you're at, they're out of that too. But I made a big green juice this morning, and I put aloe vera in it. I did a celery, cucumber, lemon, ginger, and parsley juice. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like. Since we're in share mode, I'm just going to share my life with you right now. What's going on in Elena's world? This is a cucumber, celery, parsley, lemon juice. And that foam is, I blended aloe vera, a gel into it. I bought a whole leaf and I cut the inside gel out and I blended it, and it tastes so creamy and frothy. And aloe is so good for us, and all of that is really good for us. So anyway, this is a good time to be home and just making foods that heal you versus making foods that are going to take away from your immunity. I see Julie says she doesn't have any problem finding celery. Some people might, but they are restocking the stores. So go back. There's nothing else to do. I know I've heard that in Marin, you're not really allowed to leave your house unless you're shopping. So guess what? No matter what you're doing, put that backpack on and say, I'm going shopping. So anyway, keep checking the stores, and you can call the stores and ask them to call you, or, just keep checking to see what they've got in stock or when their produce is coming in. Don't be afraid to ask questions about, like, hey, when are you getting new stuff in, and all that. This is a good time to make friends with your natural grocer. All right, so I've got quite a bit more here. I'm going to show you this tool that I love. It's called the Bash and Chop. It's also called a pastry scraper. It's perfect for getting things off your cutting board, and you don't waste anything this way. And you know what I'm going to do probably with these pieces of ginger root that I didn't grate down? Just throw them in the jar. No problem. Whatever bits and bobs you got, just throw that in the jar too, because it's all just going to ferment. So far I've got ginger in here, about a half a cup. And then the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to get all this out of the bottom of this jar. And you'll notice my kitchen is stocked with glass jars. Everything I do is in glass, and I just use glass jars for everything. This is turmeric root. So it looks like this on the outside. It looks a lot like ginger. Turmeric, as we know, is super anti-inflammatory. I bought a piece of it, and I grated some of it down yesterday. And for this one we need, so far you've got a half a cup of freshly peeled, unless it's organic, then just grated ginger, 1 tablespoon turmeric powder if you don't have the root, so don't worry, 1 tablespoon turmeric powder. And what we'll do at the end is we'll post this recipe for you guys on my personal page and on Pure Joy Planet, so you guys can have it. And then it's either 1 tablespoon of powder or 2 tablespoons of root. So I think that is 2 tablespoons of root, but I'll just put a little bit more in, and then I'll save the rest of this for my green juice. I think I might, maybe tomorrow or this week, I'll do a demo. Even though a lot of you guys know how to do it, I'll just keep doing live stuff with you because it's fun. I know Caitlin's going to do a live thing on how to make soup, like a fun soup, and tell us what you guys want, because we're here. We're making stuff anyway. May as well go on live. All right, so turmeric's in, check. And I've got this app. It's called Paprika. So look, when I do something, I tap it, and it makes a line through it. So that way, and then up here, I don't know how closely you can see this, I can scale it, so I can go down and say 1/4, and then it'll just divide everything by 1/4. You can also hit the shopping cart up top, and it'll put everything in your shopping list. So it's Paprika app. I think it's $7, and I love it. Anyway, the next ingredient is grated horseradish roots, which I couldn't find, but also just FYI, if you've never worked with fresh horseradish, you have to wear goggles and probably a face mask. It's like a little bit like in your face. It's like wasabi on steroids. So what I'm going to do, because they didn't have fresh anyway, is use this is all from Natural Grocers. It's horseradish powder. And so instead of a half a cup of freshly grated horseradish, I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the dried. And for those of you guys who don't know, 4 tablespoons equals a 1/4 cup. Even though our antiquated system here in the US seems crazy with cups, with tablespoons and cups and gallons versus like liters. I think that's 4. Oh well, whatever. It's 4 of everything. So 4 tablespoons equals a 1/4 cup, 4 1/4 cups equal a cup, 4 cups equals a quart, 4 quarts equals a gallon. So everything's in 4s, if that helps you to remember. The only thing that's weird is that 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon, but everything else is 4s. All right, so horseradish in, yay. It's got a nice potent smell. The next one is an onion chopped. I kind of saved that. I put it in a glass jar in my fridge last night because I chopped up a little bit of it already for this mini jar that I did. But if you are going to store onion, keep it in a glass jar because onion's known for sucking up toxins, and like they've used it on kids when they have earaches, like to pull out. They'll like tie it to their ear to pull out infections. So you don't want to leave this in your fridge uncovered because it's one, going to stink up your fridge, but two, it'll suck up any bacteria that's in your fridge, if you haven't cleaned it recently. So you really don't want raw onions sitting around. So what I usually do, if I'm not going to use the whole onion, I'll chop the whole thing like I'm doing now. I'm just chopping it in lines and then I'm going to mince it. And it doesn't really matter exactly. It's all going to be in the jar and it's all going to get strained out later. But the smaller you do it, the better. So it's one whole onion chopped. But if say you're cooking and you need only half of an onion, chop the whole onion so that you don't have to stick it in the fridge. And then freeze half of it chopped, like put it in a Ziploc bag and lay it flat and then just freeze it on the shelf. And then when you're going to cook again the next day or whenever, your onion's are already ready to go from the freezer, chopped for you. I love doing stuff like that because it just makes my life a little bit easier. And even things like ginger, if I've got my grater out, I'll grate more and put it in a glass jar. And then if I'm making tea or whatever, I've already got it done. So try and do yourself a favor and like pre-prep stuff. It makes it way easier when you're going, to make stuff that you don't have to do everything from scratch. Let's see, any questions coming up? Oh, what's great is that now the way Facebook Live is, it didn't used to be this way, but I can actually see your comments. Whereas before I had to like squint and scrunch to see them scrolling by. Celia says hi. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Celia. Hi, Julie. All right, so onions in. So now we've got the onion, we've got the horseradish, we've got the ginger, we've got the turmeric. Next is 10 cloves of garlic. Wow, that is a lot of garlic. So I have some pretty big cloves here. You guys don't even have to guess why they would put garlic in fire cider. It's because of the immune boosting effects, the antifungal effects. But what's great is if you're wondering if this is going to taste gross, actually at the end you put a little bit of honey in, which I'm not a big fan of honey because I do keto, but a little bit's not going to be a big deal if you're only having a tablespoon or a shot glass of this stuff. You don't even taste the garlic. After 4 weeks, it totally ferments down. And really all you're tasting is like the vinegar, the horseradish, like the potency, like woo! And it really just tastes like a honey vinegar drink with some really potent stuff in there. So I'm gonna do, I don't know, I'm not gonna do the full 10 cloves of garlic, just I'm being rebellious. But I have 1, 2, like these are all quite big, so there almost could be 2 cloves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is about 9, like if you kind of look at how big these are. And then I'm gonna use my garlic press. If you don't have a garlic press, you can just grate or chop it. But I love the garlic press because it's just super easy. This is one thing I always recommend people buy, like when you're wondering, when we do our culinary school and stuff, you're wondering what good tools are to have. I use my garlic crusher almost every day because I love to saute garlic when I'm cooking up my soups. And even with a salad dressing, if I'm blending it, sometimes the garlic doesn't blend all the way in the blender, so crushing it can really help. Anyway, so there's all 9 cloves in there. Then I'll just use my knife to get all that stuff off. And any fiber that's still inside, I usually just use my fingers. Get that out, and there we go. We've got 10 cloves of garlic. Okay, it does say 10 though, so just so you know for your own recipe. And then it says you can use jalapeno peppers chopped, but I don't have that, so I'm just gonna use some cayenne pepper. And it's about, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/2, depending. I'll just do like a heaping quarter, depending on how spicy you want it. I don't know, I figure that'll open up. So cayenne's been known, like when I did my first cleanse, this guy, the doctor that I was following, had me doing cayenne capsules, and it opens up all your blood vessels and your pulmonary arteries. And it's going to really it's really great for your heart. So anything that's going to keep the blood flowing through your body and keep your body healthy is a good thing. So add that cayenne. Don't be afraid of it. All right. Next on my list is some lemon and some zest. Want to make sure you wash that lemon really well. This is, of course, organic. And I'm just going to use this grater to you could probably put the whole lemon peel in, honestly, if you wanted. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do this thing. It's kind of as long as you have the ingredients, you could just peel the lemon and chop that up and throw it in. Because I think, normally I would say don't use the white part, when you're grating, but all that has what's called bioflavonoids, which are the vitamin C, which are super good for us right now. And for those of us who don't eat a lot of fruit, like oranges, if you follow us because you're keto, get as much zest of this lemon as you can, really get it in there. And so that's the whole lemon that I'm getting, all the yellow. And the yellow stuff, the color of the fruit, the color of vegetables and fruit is known as phytonutrients. So a lot of the phytonutrients come from the color. So yellow, we got the orange of the turmeric, the yellow of the lemon, the yellow of the ginger. So these foods all have different properties. Look at all that lemon zest. Isn't that great? In it goes. Most of us should have lemons on hand at home, hopefully. And then the recipe says after you juice the lemon, after you zest the lemon, then you're going to juice it. And this is another tool that I recommend everybody own, is a lemon juicer. If you don't, you can always use a nut milk bag. And the way that would work, I just use my nut milk bag to make lemon juice or to make my green juice. But you could also, if you don't have a lemon juicer, and you do have a nut milk bag, put the lemon inside. And that's why I love this nut milk bag, because it's great for travel. And then you can just squeeze it like that and get all the juice out too. So these nut milk bags come in handy, not just for nut milk, but for juice. And you could grate ginger and squeeze the liquid out through this into your tea if you don't have any machinery or if your electricity went out. And then it does pretty much do a good job of getting all the juice out. So that makes me happy. The lemon juice is in. The next thing is some rosemary leaves, which I don't have. There's no rosemary bushes right now in my neighborhood. So you can just do whatever you want. I'm going to use juniper berries, and these still have the juniper leaves on them. And I figure, why not? The juniper leaves are good too, so I'm throwing those in and a bunch of the berries. And I'm going to tell you guys, I looked up the benefits of juniper berries. Helps with rheumatoid arthritis, insomnia, rash, eczema, and wound healing, bronchitis, so it's really great for the lungs, bladder infections, high cholesterol, respiratory infections, sore throat, fatigue, muscle aches, arthritis, I already said. And then people use it food-wise for pickling food, like in your pickled foods, and in non-alcoholic beverages, which is what we're doing now, and even in gelatins and puddings, which is interesting. So in go the juniper berries. And then the next is hawthorn berries. So this is what hawthorn berries look like. Sherry, thank you again. Somebody yesterday was buying up all the hawthorn berries in the store, and they weren't willing to share, which made me mad for a minute, and I kind of called them out on it, but then I let it go. I was like, all right, if you want to be a hoarder, you be a hoarder. But anyway, I got them anyway. So what is good about juniper berries? Let's see. This is clove. We'll get into that in a minute. Here we go. Not juniper berries. I already did juniper berries. We want to know the benefits of hawthorn. So let's see. They're loaded with antioxidants. Let's see what else. They may have anti-inflammatory properties, lower blood pressure, decrease blood fats, which is interesting. Cholesterol and triglyceride are two types of fat always present in your blood. At normal levels, they're perfectly healthy, but if you get an imbalance, this helps. Used to aid digestion, hawthorn berries and hawthorn extract have been used for centuries to treat digestive issues, particularly indigestion and stomach pain. The berries contain fiber, which have been proven to aid digestion. So once this is done and you strain it, which I'll probably come back in 4 weeks and show you, but you could use these things that are in there and you can just eat them. Helps prevent hair loss. Who knew? There you go, people. May reduce anxiety. It has a very mild sedative effect. Used to treat heart failure. and easy to add to your diet through, you can do them raw, you can put them in a tea, you can ferment them, and you can take them as a supplement. So there you go. All the benefits of hawthorn berries. And I'm just going to I threw in about 20 just because I have them. I'm just going hog wild here. Then cloves. It calls for about, well, actually, this one doesn't even call for cloves, but my friend Sherry put cloves in. So cloves add a really great flavor. And benefits of clove is, those are juniper berries, benefits of cloves. Contains important nutrients. Let's see, that one isn't a good one. High in antioxidants, may help protect against cancer, can kill bacteria, may improve liver health, may regulate blood sugar, promotes bone health, and may reduce stomach ulcers. So cloves are a good thing. And if you don't know about this, if you ever have a baby that's teething, it's really good for numbing the jawline, and you can just rub it, or if you ever have something in your mouth, you can rub it on there, it'll help numb it. All right, so we got lots of really good ingredients in here. And now the last thing, oh my gosh, that horseradish smells amazing. It smells like a little bit like wasabi. It's making my eyes water. And my nose run. Can you tell? My nose is starting to run. Okay, so the last ingredient is the vinegar. And what you want to do is just fill your jar up with it. So here's the vinegar. This one I got in bulk, but you can use whatever, Bragg's, apple cider vinegar. You don't want to use white vinegar. You want to use apple cider vinegar. And then just fill your jar up. Basically, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. And what I'm going to do, just because I made this one last night, is that, and it's got more vinegar, I'm just going to pour all that. Looks like I need to go to the store, get more vinegar, and fill the jar all the way full. But this is good for now. It's a good amount. That's going to make quite a bit, because as we know, all you need is a tablespoon or two at a time. Then what you want to do, you're not going to put the honey in until after the 4 weeks are over, because honey, as we know, is antibacterial, so you don't want to stop this from fermenting. And the honey could do that. So put this lid on nice and tight. If you missed the start and you're here now, the reason I'm putting this Teflon sheet between the lid and the jar is because the vinegar will make the lid rust. So I'm not going to open this now for 4 weeks, but I'm going to shake it really well. Dang, the horseradish is really making my nose run. Get it all shook up. I'm all shook up. And let it, every day, then I have to come back once a day and shake it for 3 seconds, it says. So 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then you can kind of watch it. I'm going to leave it in my pantry because I'm in my pantry most days getting nuts or ingredients. Someplace, it says to keep it in the dark, but someplace that you're going to be opening your cupboard regularly, maybe where you keep your blender, and then just remember to shake it every day. And that's it. You got fire cider in the making. Does anybody have, yeah, you can use clove powder, Julie. If you use clove powder, I would probably only do 1/8 to 1/4 because clove can be a little overwhelming. You don't want to put anything in there that's gonna totally overwhelm the flavor. Other things you can put in is tinctures. So if you have tinctures around, or astragalus powder, anything really, if you're wondering if it's okay, it probably is. I have a daikon here, which I'm going to actually be making sauerkraut later, but you could probably put some daikon slices in there. It's just like making sauerkraut. You could put things in, but I don't know, I wouldn't put a whole lot of vegetables in there because then it just changes it. But anyway, then you can, when it's ready, this is what it's going to look like. It changes color. And Sherry said she only put a little bit of honey in. And then I'm just going to use this ginger one. And that's about all you need for a shot. Kind of like having a shot of alcohol. It's really intense. That's super good. Man, you just feel like you can conquer anything when you got this fire cider in you. And if you have been out to the store and you're worried, oh, I've been around people or I touch things like that, taking a shot of that afterwards, it's just going to kill anything. So just keep that going. I'm not even really worried about the whole virus thing because I'm so healthy. But again, we don't know. So it's just better to be on the safe side and stay as healthy as you can. Also, I'm just going to, while we're talking here, remind you to keep your mind healthy. If you're watching the news a lot, I would stop. Do some meditations. We just sent out the newsletter and we posted it on YouTube. I did a like an invocation of the violet flame, which is all about burning away energies that create negativity. And it's really easy to go down a negative rabbit hole right now. And so use this time to read books that are going to, give you, like, uplift you. Stay around people that are staying positive. And we're in a new paradigm shift. I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen with society. I mean, student loans are getting canceled. Next thing we know, credit cards could get canceled. I mean, our whole world could shift. So imagine the outcome that you want versus like the fear outcome, because as a collective, we're really powerful. And one person who is connected is more powerful than 10,000 people who are in fear. So if you can be the one beacon of light in your city or in your family, and you don't have to tell people they're wrong, but just really like hold the space of even asking them, well, what if you could have the perfect outcome, what would it be? And then just start imagining that. Do the imagination creation and imagining what kind of world we want to live in. I want to live in a world where everyone's equal and there aren't super poor people and super rich people. I want to live in a world where there's more equality. And I think this is leveling the playing field right now. And one part of this is about the virus and about not getting sick, but there's so much more going on here. And it's the energy of the world is changing. And so I think it's a really exciting time, honestly. So just keep paying attention to that. And Caitlin just posted, if you want to be on the mailing list, you can click on that link. And I want to keep hearing from you guys. So like, be on Facebook with us. Let's be interactive. We're going to be back with more live demos of whatever we're doing. Like if I'm making something, I may as well do it live because I'm making it anyway. And I just really want you guys to know that I love you and I care about you and I care about your safety and your health. And I've been getting out every morning and running, and it's been snowing here in Bend, so I just bundle up and put my spiky tennis shoes on, and it's so beautiful out there. There's a whole world of nature out there. And the elementals in nature, if you believe in this kind of stuff, like there are beings in nature that are voting for our victory and voting for our good. And when you go out and connect with the elementals, which could just like wind, earth, water, fire, which is the sun, it doesn't have to be anything woo-woo. When you go out and connect with those things, they will change you. And then just when you're breathing, just think, I'm breathing in the elementals. I'm breathing in the elementals. I'm taking those healthy beings into my body, and they're going to heal my body and keep me safe and healthy, and they're going to keep my mind healthy. Like if you just stop exercising because your gym is closed or because it's like, oh, it's a vacation, like you got to keep your body moving. And I have my yoga mat out on my living room floor. Find some online yoga classes, find some ways to keep moving and interacting, and let's just keep this conversation going with each other. Let's just stay healthy together, and tell us your ideas of like what you're doing to stay healthy and like how you're keeping your mind active. I was reading a book last night before I fell asleep, went to bed. It's all about conscious language and like how we're using language to either sabotage ourselves, like using words like can't or shouldn't or can't or won't, things like that, versus I can, I will, I choose to, I am. And I'll post a little bit more about that book because I think it's really interesting. I might do a podcast on it. And like how our language can easily sabotage us, especially if you're watching the news. It's all about sabotage. It's all about what's wrong. And that's how they make headlines. So let's focus on what's right, what's working. Luckily, you guys who follow us are already into health and well-being, and you know what's healthy. And it's a great time just to go within and internalize and just get yourself clear on what it is you're creating in this life. All right. Well, that said, I love you guys. It's 30 minutes and 33 seconds. And we'll see you very soon on another video.